Welcome to the Metals Investment Forum. We here welcome back Charles Fung.
Thanks for having
Charles,
us.
good to see you again. So you are the talk of the town because people are talking, whoa, your stock it seems to be a bargain right now. There's a lot of heavy selling for some reason. Maybe you can tell us why.
Yeah, it's always nice when you're raising capital to have big funds in your stock. They make it easier to raise bigger amounts of money, but sometimes they make corporate decisions. And so there's a fund that we know that's trying to get out of North America. And so any of their North American stocks are currently on the chopping block, and that's making us a pretty good value right now.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I talked to quite a few well-known guys. They're trying to put low bid in, and this week try to grab some cheap share. Maybe we should do so, and as well as the audience.
Yeah, no, we're looking at options to cross it out and clean it up. So I don't think it'll last for long, but sometimes things go on sale, don't they?
I know. How many, how much selling has been done so far?
Yeah, so it's been going on for about a month or so. It's kicked up a bit recently, but no, we're talking to a few groups to cross that out. It's a decent sized block, in the order of a few million shares left.
Oh, right. We're getting close to it.
Yeah, we're working to clean it up.
Right. That's great. So like Eric said, you've done almost everything you plan to do. So everything was done. I mean, nothing is perfect, but you've done everything you did so far in the past few months. I mean, of course, the market didn't appreciate. So maybe that's a buying opportunity for those people who believe gold is going higher.
Yeah, prior to this little event, we were tracking quite nicely at the back end of last year. We set a lot of ambitious goals last year, and I'm very proud of the fact that we delivered them. And in a number of cases, some we knew that we could exceed, and others we were pleasantly surprised. But high grade, wide resource, quick pathway to production, significantly better network, adding quality people to our team. We achieved a lot last year, and that's a base for this year.
Ah, great. I saw some of the results. It was just fantastic. Those kind of long intercept and very high grade. And in any market, if a little bit better, the stock will do a lot better.
Yeah, there's very few ore bodies in the world where you can consistently drill, 50 meters at 10 to 12 grams, 100 meters at 5 to 10 grams. It is a unique ore body in how wide and high grade it is. And it's also had $100 million invested in it before we bought it. So our ability to accelerate it's pretty cool as well.
Yes, great. I mean, you got a good bargain in the bottom of the market. So what's your plan for this year and going forward?
Yeah, so last year we completely rescoped it with our view of the underground. It's rare that it's one of the few ore bodies in the world where underground is lower capex than open pit. And so first step, we had to grow that resource and redefine it as an underground resource. This year we'll proceed to a PEA on that. We think we can lift the resource in excess of sort of 1.5 million ounces. So another drill program, combination of increasing the confidence, growing the resource and testing some of these new zones that we recognise. So looking for a resource update by the end of the year. That'll be the base resource for the feasibility study the following year. We're also internally looking at getting this decline in. We think, with the gold that we can access at the bottom in a bulk sample, we could possibly have, a self-funding or a non-equity pathway to pushing the decline in, further de-risking the project. So we're doing a lot of work on that, and we'll probably make a decision there in Q1. But, we've been creative in how we've raised capital, like the warrant incentive at the end of last year. Watch for us to continue to be creative and protect that equity structure in these tougher markets.
Oh, that's great. So what's this mine is fully permitted for open pit, right? So when are you going to get a permit? I mean, you're switching to underground, right? So how long did it take?
Correct. So there's a few interesting parts there. So it is permitted for open pit mining. The portal and the decline's permitted, so we can do any of that underground work that we need. We could do the bulk sample without any additional permits. We will submit a holistic modification once we've got our flow sheet finalised. We were proposing Q2 this year, but there's an election in Mexico in September. So it probably doesn't matter between Q2 and the end of Q3, but we'll definitely submit that modification. The plan is to have the feasibility study completed and the permits in hand at the same time the following year.
Oh, wow, that's great. So it seems that you mentioned Mexican election. What do you think the election will impact to the mining industry going forward? Do you have any idea? Can we give some advice to the audience?
Yeah, I think as people who followed Mexico have seen that there's been some headwinds for building projects, particularly open pit projects in Mexico. I don't expect that to materially change, but perversely it makes permitted projects particularly valuable.
Yeah, you
so
have permitting.
I don't really have to be too concerned about that. Ultimately, Mexico has a very long history of mining, and I think you'll see lots of mines being built in Mexico in the future. I personally think it's a great jurisdiction for building mines and building companies that build wealth.
Well, great. Well, thank you, Charles, and look forward to hear more exciting news from you in the coming months.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.